zones, which is very ironic considering that we started our first round with no zones.
Everything circles back to we had to start with zones somewhere. To be fair, zones is basically the mode in Splatoon 3. Everybody plays on it. Now, both teams will probably be like, all right, well, we have zones. We know what to do here, for sure. So, by the way, it's gonna be NM on the Alpha side. Bravo side is gonna be Ascension. Excuse me. Had some in my throat there. So Vanilla Roller is going to be back on the menu for Bonk. NM is going to be dishing out the Inkling tri-stringer. The chumps are in play. The other version of Bonk, I guess, is going to be the one with the that is the blaster, the NZAP, and the 52 gal round left NM, and Nito both teams fighting for the zone.
And it's a great start from Ascension. And once again, if there's any team that knows a great start, it's going to be Ascension. But as soon as we see that, there's going to be the second bonk that we have coming out from NM. Great start. Again, once again, Ascension has the zone. NM's still looking for the way in, and they had a bit of a handle on it. Sorry. So as Ascension quickly gets 2-3 players down for a delayed triple.
Delayed triple is going to allow Ascension to just continue to push them up a little further. Definitely keep the momentum going from another Game 5. It's the same way NM, by the way, also coming from Game 5. Looking to see which team has the best momentum to start. As we do get to see 42 points remain here from Ascension. It is going to be a paint being tossed in here. It's going to be Lumia is going to be trying to move forward. It's going to get quickly chucked out, excuse me. Some of my words there. As it is going to be Ascension still trying to fight for both zones. One would say neutral. This might still be neutral here for a couple more points. And I'm still trying to contest here, Nito. About 32 points remaining is going to be the score. And this is going to probably be an imminent zone swap. Yes, it will be. NM will be the one to get their offense going.
Sorry, I just noticed that somebody's name was apparently I missed my X, which is a wild thing to admit in the middle of a charity tournament. But you know what? I hope that... I don't know. Actually, no, I'm not going to say anything. Why not just move on to the rest of it? SNM is currently holding on to control of both zones. And you know what? For as good as Ascension looked, and while they were holding the zone, NM looks fairly calm and composed here. We have lots of people currently bunched up here on top mid, but we're going to have them spread out very quickly because NM knows that if we could just send a Miha over forward, we're going to isolate this roller, and we're going to have an entire wipeout on our hands as well. NM, as dominant as Ascension looked earlier, NM looks even better.
This is deja vu all over again for Ascension here. Fast start, but then just not able to get them not able to stay together for the second half. But this time here, this is NM looking for the KO. This is just gonna be a desperation rush here. They're gonna get thrown off by the blaster. 2-for-2 trade is gonna favor NM anyway. That's NM taking it home game 1 to kick off the best of 5 here. And what has basically started off with as Ascension getting off the fast start here about the first 2 minutes in. NM's like, nah, we'll just get lead from one quick offensive push.
Nah, we're better. That's essentially what you gotta say when you have an opening like that. I mean, Ascension looked good. I will say, Ascension looked like they had a clear handle on things, about as good as they did when they were playing against Zipcat. And then NM comes in. I see 152 gal making their way towards the opposing team's spawn, and from there I see 2 picks come down right in front of our spectator cam. 1 pick goes down. All of a sudden, this roller is alone, and this all happens within the span of seconds. And from there, NM was off to the races. There was no catching up for Ascension to do. NM cleaning things out very quickly at the end.
Yeah, and NM was able to wrestle that one home. The triple into the wipeout was basically going to give NM a big chance here to take home game 1. So that was game 1 over to NM, and now Ascension kicks off the counter pick stage once again. For those who missed it earlier, if this is the typical counter pick rule, it's gonna be the last. They cannot pick the last mode 1 or the last map 1, but they didn't win the game 1, so it is freedoms for them to see which map they want to use out of the available map pool. Still waiting to see what that counter pick is gonna be from Ascension, but Nito, it's almost the same script for Ascension, just like the previous game. They've just trying to figure out how to get back into the second half of this game, and just couldn't get it to materialize.
Right, and with Ascension, they already showed some level of struggle against Zipcat, mainly because of kind of the same thing that NM has right now. Just one player that will come in, absolutely wreak havoc for you For Zipcat, it was Eli and a handful of players on their side as well. But just for NM, it's going to be that 52 gal you really need to watch out for if you want to keep a tight grip on things. I know that Tower Inkblot game certainly shook you up a little, but with this coming up for you, it is a big matchup, especially considering the names on NM's roster. And Ascension, knowing that they were able to catch NM off guard at the beginning of that matchup, you're still looking fairly good here, and you also have a counter pick to go your way.
Yep, and we're still waiting on that counter pick from Ascension, which I think just came live here. Is going to be Museum de Alfonsino Rainmaker making its grand appearance here for Ascension. So that is going to be the counter pick of choice, which I would love to see how Ascension deals with this one. We've seen basically very little weapon swaps from them. It's going to be the question if NM has any in the tank, but while things are all getting squared away here, Nito, we're still waiting to see if anybody else is, if we get to see any more of the donations go up here, because again, we're raising money for Gamers Outreach. And the match, by the way, is still active here. Next $160 donate will get matched by Squidado. So get your donations in. ! Donate the command if you want. If you want to donate, excuse me. You can tell I'm also stumbling in my words here, and we've only hit the afternoon, at least from my side, Nito.
It is still fairly early in the afternoon, and truth be told, I was also messing up with my words. So you know what? If we were to eventually downgrade and just go towards sounds, I'm sure we would still have some level of success. But you know what? We still have our words with us for now. So we're going to go ahead and talk over the rest of this matchup and your way right now. The counter pick being Rainmaker Museum d'Alfonso, courtesy of Ascension.
Yeah, Ascension is gonna be the one dishing this one out here. Here, Medi is gonna be on the end zap. It will be okay. I can only imagine that's Bonk of Telenis' fame. Going back with the big swig. Hello, we got to saw the big swig for the previous set, so look to see more back shenanigans here from Ascension if they can make this one count. For about 10 seconds into this game, it will just be Ascension. Already the big back being used. Questions, can they even find anybody with this one? Trying to see if they can use it in a defensive setup. Doesn't look like that would be the case. First member down is going to be Ellie, because there is somebody from NM who just popped up from behind. All 3 members gone. Bomb has to escape, and that would be the first points on the board for NM and for sure the checkpoint.
And look how far the 52 gal has gone after just passing through the first pedestal, by the way. They're still going forward, still collecting some points, and they're still somehow going forward with 2 Ascension players right around. And there's a wipeout as well, near wipeout. Only 1 player left. It's going to be the Tri-Stringer versus this 52 gal. A Tri-Stringer has a very scary matchup, and somehow still gets the pick from this. I don't know what that was from. That must have been fall off. But Medi at least able to clean things up, make sure this 52 gal, this absolute menace of 52 gal and Mustad slows things down for NM.
And right now, NM only having reset there, but that was effectively the push, if anything, for NM to at least be in game-winning territory. Now, Ascension has to figure out how to stop the next push, which they were able to with a couple members down. Somebody has gone to the back lines there. That was the 52, I believe from Triple that has happened, but they've lost 2 of their own. It is just the 52 in the splash that is still fighting for Ascension to keep things alive here. Sam trying to fight near to Umia, and it will be the other version of Bonk going down, and Ascension so far is able to hold them off just a little bit more. Just that wall being thrown into it. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in here, Nito. Ascension still looking for the opening.
Right, and it's nice. It's great that you pointed that out, because Ascension, at least in clearing out the rest of NM, looked great here. And it actually almost get the pedestal. I'm surprised that this stamp was able to come in just in time. It looked like Ascension had that on lock, but NM able to put a stop to that. But still, Ascension looks like they're slowly starting to creep up on NM, and this is what they want. At least you want to play patiently, and if you're going to be playing patiently, it can help to at least have things move very slowly for you. So I'm glad that Ascension at least has that going for them. They have this crap going for them as well. Let's see if it amounts to anything now that we've gotten past this pedestal.
Yeah, and now already the Zaybat's in perfect possession for the lead chain, and that is Ascension immediately taking that one home to 9 points remaining. One good game-winning push. Ascension responds in kind. Something that got missed earlier as well, Nito, was that Ascension literally had about a few seconds left before that Rainmaker had to reset back to mid. Had they not slammed that one home in the checkpoint, that would have been a delayed start on the push. But Ascension slammed that one home. They waited for the ink back to be used, and Ascension used it to full effect. And now we can see how Ascension keeps the defenses going, especially if NM is just trying to do their best to get a push started on their side now. A minute 45 seconds left here. Nito, there is still plenty of time for NM to basically get a push start, especially when you don't have to deal with the checkpoint anymore. But they got to win out a few fights. Ultra Stamp being tossed in. The wipeout is secured. The question is can they capitalize? It's going to be Good Ace Gale and Mirage trying to fire right in. The answer is going to be no. The Rainmaker has been dropped, and the pencil's right there in prime position to get the pick on the Bonk. And so far, 60 points remain, and Ascension gets the hold.
Yeah, drop it. Get that Rainmaker out of there, because that is scary for Ascension. NM, this has got to be something that has to be on Ascension's mind. NM can quickly come in and turn this match around whenever they want to. And it's very scary. It's something you need to be watching out for, especially this 52 and this Blaster. This has been a dangerous combination for Ascension. NM can quickly turn things around, and with a minute to go, they will want to turn things around.
You know, by the way, in case you weren't aware, they were trying to go for the Bigfoot play stall there in the museum. You know, the one where you had to make the switch surge up front to make sure the Rainmaker hard to grab. They did it with 1 minute and 5 seconds left on the clock, which is still plenty of time here if NM can basically capitalize. And they were able to follow up with the same thing and pick up the Rainmaker on their own. So now they have a chance to make this push count. They have exact timers, by the way, on this push. So they basically either have 1 or 2, depending on how this materializes, but they're being completely swamped because I just saw Vonk go in with the big swing there. Now they use his ink bag. Everybody's being stamped out of the board, and this Rainmaker has gone down. Excuse me, the Rainmaker holder has gone down. 3 members down. This is going to be NM. They're going to lose 3. This is going to be the stall now coming up for Ascension if they just want to pick this one up to ensure that nobody can pick it up or sneak things through for NM. Because this is going to be the wall being used for their bump. Just trying to push through.
Wow.
They don't have any members there. Doesn't even matter anymore. And Nito, we have a 1-1 tie in winner semifinals.
Keon, that was 3 walls and a crab in front of the Rainmaker. There's such a thing as GG specials. I've never seen GG wall before, but if you wanted any example, that's gonna be it. Ascension, honestly, they're pulling out some of all the stops in this one, trying to stop NM, and it's working very well.
That it really is, and it kind of felt like there were a few moments where you felt like NM got the push, but it always is the danger of the ink back that Bonk had available from the big swig. When I say Bonk, that is the person whose name is I Miss My Ex, by the way, for those wondering. So hey, the big swig was used to full effect on the home run push, and it got them to the finish line. So great work from Ascension. We get to see another counter from NM. They cannot pick Umami Ruins, and I believe they cannot pick zones. So they have to go to a different mode, either Tower Control, Rainmaker, or Clams being the choice in question. So while we wait for the counter pick, Nito, we're still waiting to see if we get more donations coming in here. As we're about $30 away from the goal.
Don't make Rubik get another donation because they've already got 2 coming in from Rubik. One is 25, the other is 15. I think since we're so close to this goal, there's a lot that every one of y'all in this chat can do, in the audience can do. TC Inkblot is going to be coming in. I will say this is 100% honest. I was going to mention TC Inkblot. I was going to mention Inkblot because this is the bread and butter of counter picks. This is the if we need to go for reliable here, we're going to break out the Inkblot every time. So I'm not surprised.
Somewhere out there, Popgun is actually just screaming about Inkblot TC being counterpicked. Somewhere out there, Zach's also screaming that it's getting counterpicked. What is the rule? There are 3 certainties in Splatoon. There are 3 certainties in Splatoon. First of all, you have to always counterpick Inkblot TC. Second, you have to always counterpick Inkblot TC. And third, you still have to counterpick Inkblot TC. All roads lead back to that. Let's get that out of the way. So that is the counterpick from NM. So we get to see what's being dished out here. We get to see a crack-on Splat Roller once more from Bonk. It is going to be the custom blaster the regular blaster. Not sure I got the custom from Bonk GPT. Let's just see how this all plays out there. There is a bubble that is available and comes also available from NM.
And so far, so good. Pretty confident both sides. If it was a big swing, we would have certainly seen Inkvac come out from now. But NM knowing better than to just go ahead and pull out all their strongest attacks first. Maybe not, though. We see Medi coming out from the side, but does not amount to much, that push. But this is certainly a little different. It's going to be slower on both sides. And it's almost kind of what Ascension wants to see because of how quickly NM could turn this game on a dime. What we've seen in the last two sets, particularly Museum Calam, or Museum Rainmaker, I should say.
Yeah, and the story still holds true for sure here. As both teams still fighting for any sums of getting to the first checkpoint, let alone anything really on the board. Both teams fighting around mid, nobody getting any control so far. That's a nice little pick onto the good ace gal, and now this is the move forward here from him, and this is going to be the second pick, the delayed double there against Barrage as the checkpoint now being cleared here from Mesmerizer. Now we got to see how this all plays out. The Dragon being thrown into that. The jump was a bit delayed. That was kind of a very interesting pick there, as that was Bonk getting into that one. And so far, no, not quite the second checkpoint being cleared. That is still being cleared out here from Ascension.
Right, and Bonk was going to look for that flank. Wisely decides to back off because there was at least two players looking right in front of him. As a result, though, you do get picked off eventually by this Inkling tri-stringer. NM looking better than ever. Sam looks like they're in a lot of trouble. And who else but this 52 gal, and then to clear out a few more picks on the front lines. NM has everything working for them so far as they head towards this third checkpoint, but they're not going to make it easy, Ascension.
Ascension's never gonna make this one easy for NM here, but they all have gone too. It is just Ellie and Sam, the only one alive originally. All members have respawned from base, excuse me, as NM being pushed a little back. Now Ascension has some room to work with. I take that back. There are still members of NM still right there, waiting for them. The chumps are being used as a distraction maneuver. Everybody's just running on this third tower. That is the third checkpoint being cleared, excuse me. Bonk was able to put the stop on them, but all three checkpoints gone. Ascension has a tough road ahead of them. They got to get the tower out of their home base as the first step, and the second step is to get this tower anywhere close to the first checkpoint. And Ascension at least is able to hold them off, so there won't be the KOM anytime soon. But Ascension has a lot of work cut out.
Oh, no kidding. Ascension has only gone up to 97 remaining, and with how much NM has been able to pile up the points within the last 3 minutes of the game, Ascension's going to have to bring everything to avoid them getting the match point from here, as you see good ace gal trying to do the same thing that the 52 gal's been able to do for NM, but who else? Medi actually going to be the one leading the charge this time. It's going to be a triple for Ascension. NM, once again, turning this game on a dime.
NM completely changing the tide of this game by a country mile here, and that allows NM to just keep the tower moving, and that is a little nice find on the Bonk. Bonk trying to go for a sneaky play, just not able to get that one to materialize. That's a second pick there. That is full aura state for the blaster, eliminating the beacon as well, to make sure that there are no silly jumps being tossed in. And NM keeping the pressure going around flat. They are looking to make this push a lot harder here for Ascension. They lose a couple. Bonk's gonna trade basically two for their own, and a third member has gone down. Sam just trying to run forward, almost donating themselves to NM there, and it is turning to a very crazy brawl. It ends in the favor of Ascension until that full aura state kicks in, and that is a third member drop. Can they go for the quad? The quad is not there, but the triple was still very nice at the end. And NM is going to keep this push going about 43 seconds in, and NM has all the momentum, Nito.
We don't talk about mechanical skill as much when it comes to these players, but this 52 gal on NM, crazy work with the camera, crazy work with the movement, working out very well, collecting those three picks. Ascension has everything being thrown at them, including the kitchen sink, and this 52 gal is going to be back down a rampage. No, not quite.
Not quite for sure, but still members down from Ascension. It is still any trade basically at this point for NM is just going to benefit them heavily, but they can't afford to get a little too happy for their own good. We saw from earlier that Elite can get lost if they're not careful, or if the opportunities present themselves for Ascension. But I don't think anybody's going to be able to ride the tower there. In fact, way too late. They were trying to swim up to the tower to even get the overtime started, although the blaster probably waiting for them at the end. And Nito, in amongst the highlight reel and amongst the highlight push, NM takes home game 3, and they win their counter.
Yeah, and that's at least with the counter picks of 4. Now, when typically we look at Inkblot as being the, well, duh, of counter pick maps, but it looked like NM had a clear plan in mind. And honestly, when you have a 52 gal doing as excellently as Amiha's been doing for NM, the plan has to be just send the 52 gal deep into territory. We have the specials to back you up. We have the pencil to back you up, or sorry, the tri-stringer to back you up as well. Just do whatever the heck you want. We'll eventually meet you up there, and everything will be fine. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't sweat it. Don't worry. Don't everything basically for this group. And right now, NM has looked pretty solid there. Both teams have looked really solid in their own way coming into this one. Counterpick time for Ascension. They cannot pick Rainmaker or Museum, so they got to pick something different this time. Maybe you could be looking for the mythical clam. Let's complete the quadfecta of all modes. Well, we'll see if they want to even entertain that aspect there, Nito. Once again, this is still a charity tournament for those wondering, and of course, the Splatoon tournament being at the forefront. Here we are still $30 away. Again, next $160 will be matched by Squiddaddle, folks. So ! Donate if you want to donate for this amazing cause. Rather, you should, but of course, if you want to donate, ! Donate to donate for this fantastic cause. And Nito, we still have a lot of time left on the day.
Absolutely. Remember, guys, we are $30 away from reaching this goal. And with so much time left on this proverbial clock, you still have a long ways to go to break the goal. So, no sweat. You still got a long time. You still got a long way to consider how much you want to be given to a righteous cause, as we find out to the counterpick from Ascension being Splat Zones, Barnacle, and Dime. No clam blitz for you, Keon.
There was no righteous cause. There was no clan blitz on the horizon, Nito. My hope for the quadfecta has been ruined. But I think there's probably a game plan with this move. We're with Barnacle and Dime, Splat Zones, and this is what Ascension wants to go to. So again, if they win this kind of everybody has one on their own counter picks. Of course, advantage will go to NM if they end up dropping that one in terms of the counter picks. So this is going to be the map that Ascension needs to win. Then they have to be able to adjust to a Game 5 if they need to get to that point. But Barnacle and Time Zones for what they want to dish out, especially with Bonk on Ascension side, is just flexing to many different rollers. There could be a game plan that they may have in mind.
Bonk with the roller of choice. I'm thinking that for Splat Zones, Barnacle, and Dime, that big swing is certainly going to be a direction you want to look towards, especially with how fast you can get that. You can get your Ascension to a really good start if you're able to use all of that to your advantage. So we're going to see what the pick is from Bonk. It's going to be the order roller. So instead, you're going to see the bubble come out.
I kind of love that bonk of Ascension side is just going to whatever roller just makes sense for them at that point in time. We got to see Crack On, we got to see the vanilla roller, we got to see the order roller, which is basically the same thing. And we got to see the big swings, so I love the variety for that box dishing up for Ascension. Both teams, by the way, fighting across mid. No changes really from NM to boot, so looking to see how this is all going to materialize. But the start here is going to go advantage NM, as that is going to be the delayed 3, and the 52 kind of stuck in nowhere to go. Effectively, a very delayed wipe, and NM is set up here for a lot of points on the board.
Lots of points on the board indeed. Ascension currently on the back foot and more so, but then this crab comes out and immediately changes things for Ascension. You still got to keep an eye out for that 52 gap, but at least for the time being, getting this zone back becomes much easier, and they do eventually get the zone to get some penalty points to boot. That's going to give you some breathing room, and it's very necessary, especially for a team that plays as fast as NM. But as I say that, NM's already got one pick. They might have two with Mirage having to jump out at the nick of time. One player goes down. Ascension still trying to fight for these picks, but NM, again, still looking for these picks wherever they want. It's almost like they're looking out for him. This is certainly going to be a wrench in Ascension's plan.
This is going to throw a wrench into every Ascension's plan in the book so far. Ascension has not found a response yet. Melee spoke words and immediately are like, no, we're gonna triple their own, and Ascension is able to make this, is able to get this one. Now, what's going for them right now is that there are no penalty points to go through. If they can get a few more members out of the board from NM, excuse me, they could get a lot of points. This could be a lead swap imminent if they can keep this up. The question is, can they keep the pressure going? Box is gonna go down though. This could change plans. There is a member that they absolutely know they're at, and that's Umio that is dropped. That's gonna be a lead change for sure, unless there is a fight across the zone. Actually, this with Medi still trying to fight for it, that is gonna be the delayed 3. This will for sure be the lead change now. Ascension gets the response that they need. They will lose a few. They will at least take a lead in the meantime, but that will be full or safe for Umio. But they are being chased by this whale. The whale's trying to displace them. They can't do much. First bomb's being tossed in by Sam, but Sam won't get the pick. In fact, Sam goes down for at the end, and that was a lead for Ascension, but it may not last for long, Nito.
Not at all, especially with NM, or this 52 gal from NM having some aura. And it was courtesy of an assist, and that's something that's got to be noted about this aura mechanic. But as I say that, one member of Ascension goes down, they have the lead once more, and it's still 29 remaining and counting.
Still counting down right now. 20 points remaining is the score. That's the blaster that has dropped, and there is still plenty of pain on the board. Ascension needs to just run up and see if they can fight for the zone, but this is going to be a full defensive maneuver here. Everybody's just trying to paint over the zone. It is a zone painting party here. There is one member that's dropped. You lose a few. Now can they keep this one up? But they have lost the 52 of their own. This fight for the zone is still going. Everybody's painting for the zone. All their might. NM is losing members. Midi's fight is getting value out of this one, but the zone finally changes for Ascension. What felt like 7 years fighting for the zone there, Nito. Ascension barely holds on to it, and now they're the one that's going to the penalty points.
This is one fight I can't. This is those fights you can't explain as a color announcer, because both of them are just throwing everything they've got at this fight, making sure they're the ones coming out of it. And Ascension avoiding the KO win, and then wanting to close this out very early. And we're still seeing some absolute chaos occurring with Ascension getting some more picks on the board. Incredible stuff they're witnessing, and it's still a minute left, Keon.
Still a minute left to go on the clock. They're not anywhere near the penalty points. Now, trade will favor Ascension. They send it here. In fact, there's not much pain, but they've lost the pencil. There's 2 members that have gone down. Good Ace has to put the defense of their lives here, but they are going to go down. Now, here's the thing. 3 members have gone down. Is the wipeout going to be there? It is going to be Sam that has to retreat at the end, because there's a man advantage here from NM, and about 50 seconds left on the clock. What a valiant effort. A 2-to-1 difference, and now the picks are going to now the picks and trades are much more important here, Nito.
Oh, absolutely. 40 seconds to go. Ascension is now the team that can turn this on a dime if they want to. But NM not going to let them have it at all. These teams are going neck and neck, and now it's just becoming a question of who's going to win the most fights on their team. That's a delayed wipe for NM. There's not much time left on his clock, Keon. NM is going to be closing out this set.
That was a lot more entertaining than I think both of these teams really bargained for at the end there, Nito. We saw what felt like Ascension nearly wrestling that one home on their own counter pick, and NM's just shut the door on them. NM just did not allow that to materialize. By the way, that's a 3-1 victory in winter semifinals. They got to win an Ascension's counter pick, and that was a lot. That was very entertaining, to say the least, for this group. And a lot of credit really to both teams. More credit to NM obviously for the dub, but both teams basically fought very well in winter semis, and the story won't be over for Ascension.